Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Tony Sonic, and we are here for another reaction video where you get to see my face rather than my avatar that I usually use in the bottom right of my streams. And for today, we are doing Cell versus Metal Sonic. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not going to wax any more poetic about how much I dislike this matchup because you guys have heard it from me plenty of times already. And I've said it in the last stream, but in case you weren't there for that, which you probably weren't, I have no major expectations or hopes going into this. All the thing I could really expect is, I guess, a good animation. But as far as like what this matchup does for me personally, like good themes, a good debate, like a good animation potential, it only really has one of those things, and that's the animation. But like, I've never really liked the connective tissue. I never liked how it dumbs down Metal to only like 2 character traits and hyperfixates on one of his abilities. It doesn't really go into his existentialism. It doesn't really go into, how he feels about Sonic. Like, it really doesn't. And the attempts I've seen people to try to make it that are always misconstrued or just don't land. I know I just said I'm not going to wax poetic about it, but there's just so many things about this matchup that just do not appeal to me. But it got popular because Dragon Ball versus Sonic is always going to be popular. Next up, we'll see Knuckles versus Piccolo, even though that's a shit matchup too. But I think we've stalled enough. I'll at least see what Death Battle's cooked up, so maybe they'll provide something good. But who knows? Let's just get this over with. Alright.
Cell versus Metal Sonic.
Which copycat android is truly the superior model?
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Alright.
There's a monster stalking Gingertown. No one who's seen it has lived to tell the tale. All it left behind was their clothes.
Scary.
Something ate these people's insides, leaving only a shadow behind.
Some kind of creature driven only by the need to feed. Earth's new apex predator, the ultimate life form.
The Namekian Piccolo went to investigate this manslayer and discovered that it was intelligent. Its tail could unravel to absorb its hapless victims and add their
okay, that's
energy to
admittedly
its
a little
wretched
disgusting.
gestalt.
But the nightmare was only just beginning, because for its last trick, somehow this freak of nature knew the Kamehameha.
The mystery of this creature's origin was decades in the making. Years ago, the world was terrorized by the most advanced paramilitary organization in history, the Red Ribbon Army.
Until they got rocked by this little kung fu gremlin, Son Goku.
But Red Ribbon's dream of revenge lived on within their head scientist, Dr. Gero.
Hiding away in his spooky cave laboratory, Gero would go to work studying the Z-Fighters from afar, learning everything there was to know about them.
And building a series of androids that would destroy his spiky-haired nemesis once and for all.
He made a ton of them. Infinite energy androids, key-absorbing androids.
Okay, good. They're
Trucker-head
specifying that
androids,
Cell
and
Max
even
is not the same character.
Ginger android.
However, none of Gero's creations were capable of matching that drive to improve that Goku and his fellow martial artists possessed.
Luckily, he had one more android left. A cute little booger so complex he'd take years after Gero's death to complete. Its name was Cell.
Born from a single cell, get it?
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, classification, bio-android, DNA composition, Earthling saying the making sense, create to advance the Red Ribbon Army, extremely annoying to draw, ha ha ha. Okay, that's a cute reference to Double Artemis's Kermit right there.
This android possessed the genetic information of all the greatest warriors that had battled on Earth, and, when fully evolved, would become unstoppable.
And with their DNA, Cell absorbed all their powers and techniques too.
Common among all of them is the power to manipulate ki, or the energy that exists in all living things, and weaponize it to fire energy blasts, fly at faster than light speeds, move things with telekinesis, and create force fields.
From the humans, Krillin and Tien, Cell knows the multiform technique, Destructo Disc, and the Tri-Beam, his extra special favorite. Oh, weird, I'm not seeing Chaozu on this list. Sorry, bud.
Is Chaozu human?
Oh.
Okay. Cell can fire
Yeah,
the Death
probably
Beam,
just a
as well as
guy
breathe
wearing the
in and
makeup.
travel through the vacuum of space with the alien genes of Frieza and his father.
And because he's got Piccolo's DNA, Cell can regenerate humongous damage to his body at the cost of some ki.
Cell has survived having half his body vaporized multiple times and cannot be destroyed unless the small cluster of cells at the core of his being is eradicated.
Should that little bugger survive, Cell will always return, even stronger than before because of the Saiyan DNA he got from Goku and Vegeta. Definitely the cream of the genetic crop.
Oh, ads. Seen this little mushroom many times.
Sure, he can perfectly replicate attacks like the Gallic Gun, Spirit Bomb, and of course Kamehameha.
Alright, key manipulation. All these are yep, I've definitely seen all these before when people have analyzed the matchup. So, yep, this is all.
As well as teleport by locking onto a living being's key signature.
But the best part of being a Saiyan is how much crazy stronger they get every time they almost die.
They can even evolve to become orders of magnitude stronger in the midst of battle. Combine that with Cell's healing factor, and he is effectively the ultimate warrior.
Like a perpetual shonen motion machine.
Driven by a biological imperative, Cell wanted nothing more than to devour Giro's previous androids, 17 and 18, believing it would make him perfect.
Only one problem. The Cell we know was born in the future, and both 17 and 18 had been destroyed. So he murdered Trunks and went back in time. Not our Trunks, future Trunks. Well, not future Trunks, but another future Trunks. It's very complicated. There's like 5 timelines.
As Cell defeated
Timeline
and absorbed the
shenanigans.
androids, he
Alright. Marvel Sting. Yep.
evolved, not only getting stronger, but changing his personality and developing a lust for battle.
He became less creepy bug serial killer and more, well, Saiyan. After exploiting that very Saiyan arrogance and warrior's pride, Cell finally became perfect.
And easily dominated Trunks
Perfect,
and
quote
Vegeta,
unquote.
the latter
Yet this
from a
guy can
decades
barely
of
get
battle
past solar
experience under his
system
belt.
without some
Perfect
serious
Cell's
statement
power was
buffing.
off the charts. He could threaten the whole Earth just by powering up. With a full power Kamehameha, he was even capable of destroying our entire solar system.
While the vast majority of our solar system's mass is located in the sun, this still means that Cell's key wave would have to reach 2.8 billion miles to eradicate every planet.
But Wiz, maybe he was just exaggerating.
Not likely. Cell's claim has been backed up in multiple guidebooks and even demonstrated outright in the video games.
Cell's even stronger in the anime adaptation, considering the time Frieza blew up Namek. In the
Frieza also survived that same blast. Other toy characters like Garlic Jr. can create miniature black holes and nearly destroy a pocket dimension containing stars, making Frieza's feet consistent.
anime, the explosion was literally hundreds of light years wide and lit up the friggin' galaxy.
And Cell was far stronger than Frieza was at that point in time.
Hell, the Namekians could sense him all the way from a different galaxy and thought he might be a threat to the whole universe.
He's also incredibly fast.
You know, when people say threat to the whole universe, it's so vague. Like people have always taken that to mean like, oh, he can destroy the whole universe. They never say how. Like they never go into like how. Like they never say like, oh, they can destroy the whole universe, not at full power, potentially, but it's just so complicated, so convoluted. Okay, can destroy a solar system, tank drones, disrupt the disk, survive planet-sized final flash, regenerate from self-destruction, no. Briefly contending with the almighty Hercules Satan. Yeah, briefly.
Capable of blitzing even the strongest Z fighters at the time. Goku flew from Grand Kai's planet of heaven all the way to hell, hundreds of billions of light years in half a minute. And that was in his base form.
Yeah, that's cool, but how about the power to squeeze mini Cell Juniors out of your butt? What? Never heard of that key technique? Call it the Kegel.
Perfect Cell was entirely without peer and, no longer wedded to Giro's petty grudge, decided to prove it with a tournament.
The Cell Games!
Yeah.
If Goku couldn't even beat him, what hope did anyone else have? Vegeta couldn't even handle a Cell Jr.
Their last hope was Goku's own son, Gohan.
After Cell arrogantly let him power up, Gohan unleashed his rage, pushed the bug monster to his absolute limits, and beat him. Wow, Cell, you really are related to Vegeta, aren't you?
In truth, Cell was a victim of his own success. The same Saiyan genes that made him all-powerful also sowed the seeds of his defeat.
He got so mad he even blew himself up. Maybe he does have some Chaozu in him after all.
Even that wasn't enough to totally put him down, and he came back with the same Super Saiyan power-up that Gohan had just unlocked.
Super Perfect Cell! Now with
That's the
more like
lamest.
in a
That is the lamest design you could ever have for a super form. Like, people talk about, oh, but Sonic copied Super Saiyan. Super Perfect Cell is literally just Cell with some lightning attached to him. And Sonic made it look cool so many years after the fact. What's your excuse?
battle for the ages, Cell put the entire weight of his biological programming against one lone Saiyan and went the distance.
But in the end, it still wasn't enough. No matter how brilliantly Dr. Gero copied the Z-Fighters, he still couldn't quite figure out their knack for going beyond.
What can be destroyed can always be rebuilt. All it takes to recreate the most fearsome warrior in the universe is one single Cell.
Well, that was pretty much what I expected. I do not care about Cell as a character, so therefore this really did nothing for me. And I'm not really sure what they're going to do for Metal Sonic. I doubt they're actually going to go into like the deeper complexities of his character because, I mean, hey, the people who make this matchup don't care about that. Why should they? But who knows? Let's see.
Time and again, the world and its cuddly forest critters were threatened by the evil and oval Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik.
And time and again, that same world and those same critters were saved by Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yay.
No matter how many robotic badniks the good doctor threw at his blue
Prioritize
spiky
the
nemesis,
edge in
his
the video
schemes
games
were
may
always
IDW
6
comics.
spin jumps to the glowing wing spot away from getting cracked and scrambled.
But it wouldn't be over easy for Eggman. If he couldn't defeat the Blue Blur, he would make his own, Metal Sonic.
Well, 0 points on creativity for that name, but goddamn, he does look metal as hell.
They say imitation is the
Yeah, so much so that you name the track after him, only it's Metal as Cell. Isn't that such a clever pun? Creator, okay, height 3 for 3, Hyper Metal, Metal Overlord, Metal Metallics. Metallics? I thought Metallics was his own character. Anyways, Ray, Monaco Titan, likes destroying Sonic, Breezy, hates Sonic. Alright,
the sincerest form of flattery, so Eggman built Metal with more than enough blast processing to match his prototype.
Metal can zoom around at massively hypersonic speeds, fast enough to fly to nearby planets in seconds.
He's tougher than Eggman's standard equipment, some of which can survive black holes.
Metal can use all of Sonic's power-ups, and even replicate his classic spin dash and light speed attack.
But he's got
Yep.
moves of his own.
He can attack with energy blast, fire a chest laser, surround himself in an electric aura, or an impenetrable force field.
By overloading his circuitry with energy, Metal can activate V Maximum Overdrive, quadrupling his acceleration and obliterating anything in his path, at the risk of self-destructing.
You'd think all that'd be enough to turn the rodent into roadkill, but it only took one showdown on Stardust Speedway to send Metal to the scrap heap.
On paper, Metal should be able to outmatch Sonic in every way, and yet he doesn't. For some reason, Eggman wasn't able to capture that ineffable quality that makes Sonic the fastest thing alive. Metal's defeats at the hands of Sonic and his friends sharpened his AI into a seething hatred of his rival and a burning desire to prove himself superior.
Yeah, well, when you're getting your supersized red ass handed to you by Charmy B, you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Metal's defeats gave him an existential crisis.
Oh,
He
they
was
are gonna acknowledge it? You better handle this well.
created to surpass Sonic and couldn't even manage that. What was he? Why should he exist?
Never one to admit defeat, Eggman took Metal back to the drawing board and birthed him anew.
This Neo Metal Sonic was, above all, far smarter.
Especially after he copied Eggman's intelligence and took over his empire. And we mean literally copied. If Metal started as Sonic's copycat, why not hunt all of his furry friends down and copy them too?
Neo Metal Sonic is equipped with scanners in his optic receptor.
Alright. Yep. All these are 3D standard. Yep.
That can copy a person's biodata, giving him the ability to recreate all of their abilities in seconds.
Like the Sonic Boom, Knuckles' Hammer Punch, Tails' magical swiveling asshole, and Big's ability to suck at fishing.
Metal isn't just learning their
those last two jokes were just ugh. Tail speculates in the IDW Sonic the Metal could have copied Blaze's pyrokinesis or soul manipulation. His comments also infer that Metal can copy multiple traits at once. Yep.
Moves, he can replicate more esoteric powers like Silver Psychokinesis, manufacture Rouge's mechanical bat guards, or alter his very biology to copy Espio's chameleon invisibility. It's worth mentioning that biological data is a real scientific term and can refer to molecular structures like the genome sequence within a living organism's DNA.
Yeah, his copying is so busted, it doesn't really matter that he's a robot made of metal. If you can do it, so can he. Probably helps that he can shapeshift and regenerate his whole body from a puddle.
Likely by copying one of the mightiest beings on the planet, the god of destruction, Chaos.
Not the only chaos he's encountered.
By scanning the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog, he gained his ability to manipulate some of the most powerful artifacts in the universe.
Yep.
You mean the Chaos Emeralds?
An Obama joke? Really?
Yes, the emeralds contain an infinite wellspring of mystical power and life energy. With them, Metal can perform Shadow's chaos control. He can teleport, warp, and distort space, boost his speed, and stop time. And with either the Chaos Emeralds or Master Emerald, he can transform into Super Neo Metal Sonic.
There it.
Completely invulnerable and completely golden, Super Neo Metal Sonic can move at faster than light speeds and has the power to move continents.
The emeralds are inconceivably powerful.
Yep, okay. Sonic Speed Simulator follows Sega's character lore and guidelines showing Metal can achieve a more stable super form with the Chaos Emeralds, in addition to using the Master Emerald in the IDW comic. Oh, so we're using Speed Simulator for this, huh? I guess Roblox has one perk after all.
They've been used to fuel Eggman's Death Egg, which could obliterate star systems.
On their own, they can even create and destroy whole universes.
Other super characters like Sonic have battled and defeated beings like the Time Eater, who could destroy multiple dimensions and timelines in seconds. At their peak, 3 super hedgehogs have even fought Solaris, who nearly consumed Sonic's entire multiverse.
Yep.
So Super Neo Metal Sonic should be just as powerful as any of them.
Metal Sonic should outclass the younger classic Super Sonic, who also fought the Time Eater and is capable of matching modern Super Sonic, Shadow, and Silver after copying their data. Super Neo Metal Sonic and modern Super Sonic have also fought evenly in Sonic Speed Simulator. Yep. Metal Sonic is just so busted, there's no way Cell's gonna win this.
So he's gotta be quick, because all that power only lasts a short time.
The road to total domination was nearly at an end. After manipulating Sonic and friends and copying their abilities, Metal eventually combined their biodata with the mighty Egg Fleet and became Metal Overlord.
Complete with missiles, giant crystal projectiles, and the strength to match 3 supersonic heroes all by himself, Overlord is all-time final boss material.
And he knew it. His ego might as well have had its own.
You sure control the Ant-Man Empire, can keep up with Sonic the Hedgehog, flew from low planet to Earth in seconds, harness the power of the can, and defeated Sonic. Nice.
Metal's drive to surpass his rival had morphed into the delusional belief that he was the original, and Sonic the loathsome copy.
A copy that Metal had finally outclassed. All the heroes Metal had gathered had to team up to take him down.
He may have stolen their abilities, but Metal never possessed the thing that made the Sonic heroes successful: their friendship and teamwork.
Aw, how cute! Gag. Probably should have added some of those goddamn rails to the final boss fight, because it is impossible to land on those things.
Ha 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 ha. Yes, the rail grinding in Heroes sucks. We get
After
it.
getting trashed again, Eggman reprogrammed Metal to purge any bits of rebelliousness from his code.
Metal returned to being the Eggman Army's chief enforcer, always proving invaluable as the Bad Doctor's greatest creation, now completely obedient once again.
I don't know, Wiz. Who knows what's really going on behind those glowing red eyes? Maybe Metal is more cunning than he lets on, and is only biding his time until he can take over again.
Maybe the most powerful thing that Metal copied was the ability to lie.
Okay, that was a decent analysis. They did kind of acknowledge the existential crisis that Metal Sonic has, but it feels a little half-baked in that regard. Like, sure, they bring it up, but they don't really expand upon it. Like there was a brief moment that felt appropriate, but then there's a big chunk of time in between to where they're just copying what, telling you what Metal Sonic has done at the time, what he can do, and what and stuff. And by the time you get to the end, it's like then they finally bring it up, but then they only really, I don't know, they only really address address the fact that he thinks he's the real Sonic after all that. And it's just like, sure, it's there, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel enough to me. Not to mention, it doesn't really feel as thematically appropriate when his opponent is Cell, someone who, by all accounts, you cannot capitalize on that aspect of Metal Sonic with. Whatever, it was decent. They scale Metal where I thought he would. It's pretty much pretty accurate to how I expected them to scale him. And all I know now is to wait and see how much he royally rips Cell to shreds.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
All right. Should have said it's time for Cell's funeral, because that's what this is. All right.
Salutations, Dr. Robotnik. Your reputation precedes you. Bring me your strongest fighter, or face... Then prepare to kneel before your master.
There's that line.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, there's a shield. Okay. Okay, he's doing pretty well, better than I expected.
Tell me, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear? Not anymore.
I mean, that's a pretty cold line, I guess. Oh! Okay, Metal Overlord's here. Is that Little Planet? Oh, there's the Moro effects.
Fool, you're dealing with the ultimate life form.
I already possess his data. Observe. Chaos. Done. True. Life form beta successfully copied.
Yep. Time to die, Cell. You're pathetic.
It'll take more than that to kill me, puppet!
I know. Now I know everything about you, insect.
Yep, there's the Cell Juniors. Ooh. Okay, wasn't expecting that.
Don't you dare.
Okay, now we're down to the arena. Super perfect Cell, which is lame. Oh, here's the Kamehameha class.
I am not just the greatest warrior in the universe. I am all of them.
If you are all of them, then so am I.
I'll never lose to a machine like...
Bye-bye. Fuck you, Cell. You suck.
I'll crush you.
KO!
Exactly what I expected, and I am not surprised in the slightest. I mean, I guess the Metal Sonic copies were neat, but oh boy, that was thoroughly boring. I mean, I guess it looked neat visually, but it's all hollow. I do not care one bit. Cell's dead, yippee, exactly what I expected.
So, now Metal's got all the powers of the Chaos Emeralds and the Z-Fighters? Well, that world's fucked. Our bad.
Cell may have been one of the greatest threats in Dragon Ball Z, but Eggman's greatest creation ultimately proved too much for him. Let's break this down into 4 categories.
Alright.
Strength, speed, abilities, and adaptation.
First up, who was the strongest? Well, it's no surprise that any version of Cell was gonna be way more powerful than base Metal or Neo. Even just using the manga, blowing up a solar system is far beyond the level of power output Metal can match.
Without his stronger forms. With them, the power
Nah,
gap entirely
you guys
reversed.
don't realize
Not
how
only could Metal
cracked
match
Space
Cell's
Sonic
solar
is by
system
now.
busting or scaling from Frieza, but he could surpass it with the universe-destroying power of the Emeralds.
But hang on, Wiz. Those Namekians said that Cell was strong enough to threaten a universe on his own.
They did, but they didn't specify how, and there's nothing suggesting. he
Thank
could
you for
destroy
saying
it in one
that.
Go, especially since it's only brought up theoretically and without any time frame.
Even being generous and assuming
Even scaling Cell to Toy Broly, who could destroy the South Galaxy, would still be less powerful than threatening the entirety of Sonic's multiverse. Yep.
he could just blow it up, final bosses like Time Eater and Solaris can destroy the wider multiverse, and Super Neo Metal would scale to them. Metal Sonic takes the edge in strength.
Yep.
And with Sonic characters being known for their speed, you might think that was an easy win for Metal.
At his max speed in his super form, he should be comparable to entities like the Time Eater, who in Shadow Generations can destroy entire universes in seconds. By using the radius of the observable universe, we can estimate the Time Eater's destructive wave traveled at about 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Certainly impressive, but let's compare that to Goku's flight from heaven to hell shortly after the Cell games, which covered roughly a universe in distance at approximately 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Hey, just like Time Eater. The difference, though, was that Goku was in his base form.
Are they
and
seriously
slower
giving
than
the
Super
speed
Saiyan
edge
2
to
Gohan
fucking
or Super
Cell?
Perfect
There's no
Cell.
way.
Factoring in Super Saiyan Multiply.
Both Cell and skills potentially infinite speed states like Metacooler and Black Dune. However, these would cancel each other out, giving equal leeway. When are they finally going to acknowledge immeasurable speed Sonic? Like, seriously. They're just, this is giving Cell the pity win at this pity advantage at this point.
There's Super Perfect Cell can move upwards of 100 times faster than that, and so 100 times faster than Metal Sonic. Somehow, Cell takes the edge in speed.
No, he
You know, the
doesn't.
thing
You're
Metal was
lying.
designed for.
Wasn't expecting that. Let's see if any of their abilities could tip the scales.
They shared many of the same powers, like telekinesis, force fields, and energy projectiles. Of note, though, Cell's regeneration was clearly superior, able to fully heal from a single cluster of microscopic cells.
On top of that, Cell's Saiyan genes would let him grow in power every time he almost died, and his Cell Juniors gave him the numbers advantage.
And considering Super Neo Metal had a time limit, Cell would have a big advantage in a battle of attrition.
But with Chaos Control, that became a lot tougher.
Yep.
Cell and his juniors had no way to deal with Metal boosting his speed or stopping time, something that countered Cell's speed advantage and left him open. And with Silver's psychokinesis, or the Emerald spatial distortion, Metal could seriously impair Cell's healing.
So it helped that Cell could fall back on his martial arts abilities in a pinch.
Despite effectively being a newborn, Cell's genetic instincts allowed him to best Earth's most skilled warriors back to back to back.
Metal may have copied Eggman's brains, but he definitely isn't as good of a fighter.
Oh god, they really went and said it. They really went and pulled a fan battle. Ugh.
Sonic heroes haven't trained like the Z-Fighters, and Metal's been beaten by all of them a bunch of times. So all that in mind, abilities is roughly a wash.
Wait until they find out that Sonic bested the Knights of the Round Table despite only having a day of training. Wait until they figure out that Sonic regularly trains himself and that he bests martial artists like Espio. Where's that death battle? Where are you gonna acknowledge that?
Which leaves us with the one thing they're both known for, their capability to evolve and become more powerful in response to their opponents, aka their adaptation.
And frankly, that's where this back and forth completely breaks. Because at the end of the day, Metal can copy Cell, but Cell can't absorb Metal.
Cell's ability to physically absorb an opponent is primarily viable against foes he can match or overpower.
Even if he took Metal by surprise, he can't absorb fully inorganic robots like Android 16.
Cell was only able to absorb Android 17 and 18 because they were primarily organic.
They're actually more like cyborgs and are only called androids in the English translation.
Metal, on the other hand, can copy a target's biodata through only a few seconds of direct eyesight, something he could easily accomplish during a time stop.
And using it on Cell means he wouldn't just get Cell's powers, but the powers of all of the Z-Warriors too.
Remember, Metal's copying applies to abilities that fundamentally affect his own biology, like Espio's invincibility or Chaos's liquid body. Nothing Cell has would be off limits, especially given all of Cell's powers were genetically encoded in the first place. Quite literally, biodata.
Cell's Saiyan power-ups? Copied. Cell's regeneration? Copied. Cell's key techniques? Believe it or not, copied.
Chaos Emeralds are described as being able to produce life energy.
Furthermore, the Earth's life force energy restored the emeralds and vice versa in Sonic Unleashed. Chaos energy can also manipulate souls and restore life just like Ki.
Similar to Ki. So there's a precedent for him being able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this point, there's nothing stopping Metal from, say, stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize him at a cellular level. Just like Gohan did.
Cell might be able to do anything the Z-Fighters know how to do, but that's not gonna help him, because Metal can do anything Cell knows how to do. Strange, isn't it?
I agree, but you didn't have to use that meme.
Cell just doesn't have any options to retaliate that Metal wouldn't also possess, including any of his previous advantages. Metal's copy ability is just that overpowered.
Oh, I guess now I get why they called it Sonic CD.
And why's that?
Cell died.
Ha ha.
Wiz, you get it? CD? Wiz, where you go? Come on back. Next time.
I am so glad he didn't even bother to acknowledge that pun, because that just sucked. Ugh.
I'm on deathbed.
Alright, surprise me. Oh. It's this shit.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Well, what do you know? We go from one unfair stomp to another unfair stomp that is ruined by agenda and memes. Oh, God. Man. Oh. Out of the frying pan and into the fucking fire, I guess. Okay. Say something nice about the episode. Say something nice. Say something nice. Start with the good stuff. Please. The animation looked pretty, I guess. And Metal's analysis was decent overall, but a bit lacking in the areas that I personally like. But overall, I feel nothing. I don't like this, like the match. I still don't like the matchup, and this episode did very little to actually improve things for me. Like, it was predictable. I don't even think Metal Overlord got to do much of anything during the actual fight. Like, hang on, let me go back a second. Let me see what Metal Overlord actually does. Okay. Alright, see, he transforms. That was moderately cool. Okay, he deflects a Ki Blast, fires ice, Cell dodges, shields. He swipes once, and then Cell just throws Little Planet at him. And that completely destroys him, somehow. Like, and now he's out of metal. Like he just goes in, like he goes Metal Overlord, barely does anything, and then gets knocked out, and then it's back to copying data and eventually Super Neo Metal. Like, that's lame. And let me see this, let me see that Super Neo Metal transformation again.
I know. Now I know everything about you, insect.
I mean, that's fine, I guess, but it's really not a cool super transformation. Like, honestly, granted, not a whole lot of super transformations are very memorable in the show. In this show, but I mean, when you look back on Bowser versus Eggman when Super Neo Metal transformed, that was awesome. That was cool. Genuine aura there. And now, yeah, but for this episode, it's just like, I know. Now I know everything you know. Transform. Haha, funny cell gif. And then boom. He's super now. You're lame. Now let me go over to the Kamehameha slash.
I am not just the greatest warrior in the universe. I am all of them.
Yep.
If you are all of them, then so am I.
Yep. He recreates
Never lose to a machine like.
doesn't even give him the courtesy of finishing his sentence.
I'll crush you.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really. I mean, what else do I really say? I mean, I guess it's nice that Metal wasn't just a reference machine, but like the references they did include, like "I'll crush you" as he crushes him. Like that's corny, and it doesn't. Like even the reused line from Bowser versus Eggman was, and for as much as it was reused, it had aura to it, given the context and the animation surrounding it. This is just cheesy one-liner, and don't think I didn't notice the "what I'm made of" what is it? Motif. Thank you. Motif. Don't think I didn't notice the "what I'm made of" motif in that last bit. I mean, which is neat, I guess. But like the rest of the track, wasn't even paying attention to it. Like there wasn't even, it was hardly that memorable, much like its own name. Honestly, I think the name might be more memorable than the track itself because it's so bad. Why did you go with Metal as Cell? Why? Why? Hell, why did you go with this matchup of all people? Like, is this really what you were looking for, Cell versus Metal fans? Like, is this really something you would want as your most wanted? Because I don't see the appeal at all. No offense to any of you who adore this episode, but I feel nothing. I expected nothing, and I got nothing. But if anything, I'm probably going to be in the loud minority, I guess. With my luck, most people are going to eat this slop up like it's the next coming of Christ. I really hope not. Today's Sunday, after all. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Leave your thoughts on the episode down below in the comments, I guess. And if you really want to, roast me for not liking this episode just because you liked it, I guess. I really don't care. But that's it for me. See ya.